what's up? I'm Marty with nextlevelguitar.com. It's a pleasure to be here. I want to talk about how you can take some basic bar chords, or the concept of some basic bar chords, and embellish them with kind of a Jimi Hendrix flavor. So what I was doing is, first I'll just talk about the basic bar chords of what I was doing. I was taking a D major bar chord with the root on the A string, 5th fret, which I find is actually one of the harder bar chords to learn in the beginning, but once you get it, you use it a lot. So I was taking that, just a D major, and then I was going to a G7 bar chord like this. Okay, so if you just do that, I mean, it's in blues and kind of R&B and rock and soul. So what I was doing with that D major earlier is actually my term for this idea is the Hendrix major chord. That's what I like to call it. But if we want to get fancy with it, it's actually a D major bar chord inversion. And an inversion means that I'm not playing the root D in the lowest range in the bass anymore. I'm playing a different note from the chord in the bass. But it gives you a little shape that's really easy to kind of, tickle the strings and hammer on pull-offs and get that kind of pretty but bluesy major sound. Okay, so what I do is I take this, I think of it this way. I take the bar chord, and I'm going to keep this little section right here with my ring finger, which is on the 7th fret, and it's covering the D string, the G string, and the B string, basically. Basically, the high E string's muted. It might be a little tricky at first, but you'll get it. And so what I do is, instead of having my first finger here on the root, I'm going to take my first finger and replace my ring finger with it, with that same little clump of notes right there. But then the other thing I'm going to do, though, is I'm actually going to cover the A string as well. Okay? And the reason for that is I'm going to hammer on a whole step up on the A string, and I'm going to strum it as a chord as I hammer on this A string right here. So just like that. And you can play that any time instead of this chord. Same chord. You can combine them together too. But then the other thing I like to do with that is not only hammer on the A string, but you have a little box right here. Okay, and actually what I'm using is really just that pentatonic shape, but with my pinky, thinking of my pinky as the root in that shape. And that's actually called the D major pentatonic. So that whole scale kind of works with that chord. But so what I'm doing is I'm kind of combining the idea of the scale with the actual inverted chord. So you can do this kind of thing. All just kind of in the land of a D major chord. And it sounds really great when you start to use those ideas and then switch to another chord like this. So then another thing that I did earlier when I was just kind of jamming it out, instead of this G7 chord right here, which has the root on the E string, 7 chord that a lot of people know, I actually went up to the G note, the root of a G chord, G, which is the 10th fret on the A string, And instead of playing a G7, you can always substitute it with what's called a 9 chord, also known as, in layman's terms, the James Brown chord. So I take my middle finger and I put it on the 10th fret here, and that's the root, and it looks like this. And I substituted that, or I just played that instead of my G7 chord. So that's a whole nother world of ideas, but basically I was just using that instead of the G7 every once in a while, just for variation. So now I'm going to just combine those ideas together, and you can hear what it sounds like. Hey, once again, I'm Marty with nextlevelguitar.com. It's been a pleasure showing you some of the things that have helped me along the way on my guitar journey. Just keep working at that stuff. You just have to be patient with yourself. The one thing I would say is do the stuff really slow and then speed it up, as opposed to just trying everything at full speed all the time. I promise you'll get there quicker, although it's the hardest thing to do. For me, too. I always want to just blaze through it. But anyway, if you dig the Hendrix sound, Mr. Jimmy himself, here at nextlevelguitar.com, we've got a great DVD that covers Hey Joe. It's 2 hours long. It goes through the leads, the chords. David Taub is teaching it, which is awesome. Definitely check it out. I think you'll really dig it. We've got a link right here that will take you to the site, and you can check out a little preview of the DVD. But once again, this is Marty with nextlevelguitar.com. We've got a lot more stuff for you to check out. Funk, rock, blues, surf, basically anything you can think of, we've got it. So come on, check it out again. Appreciate it. Thanks.